And I was about to spar, before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy.
A heavyweight.
Heavyweight boy. And Tank hit that nigga, he hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
To keep the speed, Gervonta Tank Davis, if he put on the right weight, put the right weight on, and, you know, have the lean muscle right, he can look fantastic somewhere in the mid-150s, dare I say, close to 160 against Jake Paul.
In unseen footage that's been making waves, Gervonta Davis reportedly dropped a heavyweight sparring partner while training for his upcoming fight against Jake Paul. The clip highlights Tank's trademark power and sharp timing as he lands a clean left hand that ends the session on the spot. Fans see it as proof that Davis's precision and speed remain unmatched, even when facing much larger opponents. Reports suggest Tank could come in around 150 to 160 pounds for his fight with Jake Paul, and that might actually be a smart move. Many believe fighters perform better when they compete closer to their natural walking weight. It keeps them healthier and stronger. We've seen this trend with others like Terence "Bud" Crawford and Lamont Roach, who's moving up to face Pitbull Cruz at 140 after starting at 130. Even Shakur Stevenson has discussed a possible fight with Teofimo Lopez at 140, and that weight seems to bring out the best in these fighters. Roach, for instance, might not have knockout power at 130, but at 140, things could change. The same could apply to Gervonta Davis, who may find his best form fighting at a weight that suits his body. It could even set up a future rematch with Roach at 140. Plus, coming in around 160 makes sense when you consider Jake Paul's size. Tank won't be able to avoid every shot, so he'll need a strong foundation to absorb any power that gets through without being pushed around.
150s, dare I say, close to 160 against Jake Paul. And dare I say it, I think that's the right thing for him to do. Why? I've been saying this. Number one, fighters need to start fighting closer to their walk-around weight. They're just healthier that way. They're just better and healthier that way. I mean, I know it's probably surprising them too. Like, that was the best I've seen Terence "Bud" Crawford. Lamont Roach, he's fighting Pitbull at 140, coming from 130 and a pit stop at 135. You have Shakur Stevenson talking about fighting Teofimo Lopez. They're very close to making that fight at 140. And I think all of them would look their best there, especially Roach, where he ain't knocking nobody out down there at 130. But I bet you he'll be swatting far more at 140. Gervonta Tank Davis, I think, just like the others, fighting closer to your walk-around weight is just going to be one of the better performances for Gervonta Tank Davis. He's going to learn a lot about his body. He's going to learn a lot about himself and where he should campaign moving forward. Maybe even meeting Roach in that rematch at 140 himself. Also, another reason why I think it behooves him to come in knocking at 160 pounds is because of Jake Paul. It's not like Tank is going to dodge every punch Jake Paul throws, all right? Some of those going to land, and more than likely it's going to land on his guard. Tank is going to have his guard up. We need for him to be solid enough, his foundation and his base solid enough, so when Jake Paul hits him with those shots, he doesn't go flying around the ring.
Davis has reportedly been sparring with bigger fighters to prepare for the Jake Paul fight, but that's nothing new for him. Since the early days of his career, Tank has always tested himself against heavier opponents to sharpen his timing and accuracy. His powerful shots and sharp ring IQ have helped him hold his own, proving that handling larger sparring partners has never been an issue. Recent training footage shows Gervonta Davis looking sharper and more focused than ever. Each punch he throws carries purpose and precision, built from years of discipline. His movement is smooth yet powerful, and those watching can sense the intensity behind every strike. Observers note the determination in his eyes and the way his speed and power connect seamlessly. The clips alone show how locked in Davis is for this fight. boxing experts say his condition looks the best it has in years, calling him ready for battle. The way he mixes strength, timing, and control has reignited discussions about how dangerous he still is at the top level. One of the main discussions ahead of this matchup is the size difference. Some think Jake Paul's natural build gives him an advantage, while others believe Tank's skill will cancel out any size gap. Fans are curious to see if the weight difference will matter, but those who follow Davis's career know he's faced bigger fighters before. Supporters argue that boxing isn't just about weight, it's about timing, skill, and focus. Tank's defense and counterpunching make him difficult for anyone to figure out, no matter their size. His team is confident that his experience under pressure will allow him to use Jake's size against him. For Davis, this fight isn't about proving strength, it's about proving skill.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Lamont Roach hasn't held back his feelings toward Davis, expressing frustration over their unresolved issues. His recent comments have drawn attention, with analysts noting a tone of bitterness. Many believe his frustration comes less from personal conflict and more from jealousy over Tank's success and financial rise. Once, the two had mutual respect, but Roach's words now seem driven by emotion. Observers suggest he struggles with seeing Davis dominate headlines and earn major paydays while others remain out of the spotlight. Commentators often point out that fame and money can turn rivalries personal, but Davis doesn't seem bothered. He stays focused and silent, letting his preparation speak for him.
Off rip, the question is direct. Reportedly, Tank's gonna make $40 million around there to fight Jake Paul. Would you do the same thing if you were in the situation? And he's like, actually, this is what I explained before. You're beating around the bush. It's really a yes or no. I would do it. I would take the 40 mil, or I wouldn't take the 40 mil. But let's listen to this long, drawn-out explanation.
There's about $40 million that he's going to get paid. If you were in his shoes, wouldn't you do the same thing?
See, now, this is something that I explain and express, and I hope everybody gets. That opportunity is an opportunity that you probably cannot pass up. But it's about how you handle it. It's about how you go about it. A lot of people don't know they actually exercise his rights to the rematch, so that contractually binds us to a fight. You cannot breach that unless you do what you have to do to handle the business, to be like, okay, well, we mutually agree to let you move on or swindle around and fight Jake Paul for this money. If you think I'm going to sit back by the wayside and sit there and be like, well, even though I'm contracted to fight this guy for this amount of money on this certain day, I'm just going to sit here and be cool with, oh, he might not ever fight me, and he's going to go fight and get paid and get this money, and I'm not supposed to get anything?
Analysts often point out that Davis doesn't always get the recognition he deserves. They note how his opponents often gain fame after sharing the ring with him, showing the level of impact he has on the sport. Fighters who were barely known before end up with global attention after facing him. This pattern highlights Tank's star power and ability to elevate others through his presence alone. Critics who question his competition are reminded that even fighting Davis can change a career. Experts agree his victories define him not just as a knockout artist, but as a fighter who carries the spotlight of modern boxing.
Ongoing discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's gonna fight, the competitors that he's gonna fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC.
Stephen Fulton spoke out in support of Davis, defending him from claims that he fights only for money. Fulton explained that every boxer deserves to secure their future after years of risking their body and health. He reminded fans that Tank has already achieved greatness through world titles and memorable performances, so taking major money fights now is fully justified. According to Fulton, balancing legacy and financial stability is every fighter's right, especially since a career can end suddenly. His words emphasized that Tank's choices are guided by experience and wisdom, not greed. Having a respected fighter like Fulton stand up for him reinforced that message.
Anybody in that position would have taken that fight, especially with the payout. It's like, that's a no-brainer. But I understand. I still feel for Lamont. That's my boy. Like, he still want his rematch. But then when you be realistic about the money situation, you're changing your whole family life. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people hate on it because they're not in that position. I'm not saying Lamont. I'm speaking like other boxers. Be like, oh, he this for that. He's this. It's a side quest. It's a little side quest. Because what happened when Floyd and all these guys went on WWE, but then they get right back to what they doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's another little side quest. I'm all for people just getting their money, so get the best, make the most that you can out of this entertainment world. Cause, I mean, I don't know. I would have done it as far as the money aspect, cause none of us would deny that money. They talk like they would, none of them would deny that money.
Analyst Luke Thomas offered a different take on Davis's mindset. While he praised Tank's power and technique, he noticed something unusual. Davis seemed more calm than fired up ahead of his fight. Thomas suggested that Tank might view this matchup less as a competitive challenge and more as a business opportunity. He pointed out that the buzz around Jake Paul could be motivating Davis more than the fight itself. Still, Thomas admitted that even a slightly less motivated Tank remains dangerous because his skill and experience are far beyond most fighters.
So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime straying off the path, but this one is not. It's not like someone else, in a similar weight. It's like completely the opposite, and so that makes it, I think, look and feel weird. And then on top of it, obviously, Gervonta's got other business to handle. He looked to me, Gervonta, absolutely, completely disinterested. Even at the beginning of this year, and even at the pre-fight Lamont Roach stuff, Tank was talking about how much time he has left in boxing, which he was critical isn't much. you know, I mean, the Lamont Roach fight, I mean, it blew up in his face, but Lamont Roach was cherry picked. You know, I think Tank thought, oh, I'll just fight another guy from, you know, the mid-Atlantic area who's, you know, remember Roach came up from 30 to 35 to fight him, and Tank thought he was just going to cruise, and then it blew up in his face, and, you know, you're left with that. So, like, you're making a point about, like, oh, he's got this obligation. That's true, but he was already fucking around. He was already taking opponents that, again, I think Roach showed everyone that was a mistake, but put yourself in Tank's mind. Tank was taking a fight against someone he was clearly, in his mind anyway, better than, and was just going to cruise. So he was already in that state. Then you marry that with statements like, you know, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm worried about going to therapy because it'll take away my competitive edge. And
while some view this fight as a financial move, others believe it's personal for Gervonta Davis. He's not just fighting for the paycheck, he's fighting to prove that real boxers can dominate any stage, whether in the ring or online. A win would strengthen his legacy and remind fans that true skill still matters more than fame. Davis knows this event will attract both hardcore boxing fans and casual Jake Paul followers. To him, this is a chance to shift attention back to real competition. If he wins convincingly, it will send a message that talent and discipline still outweigh internet popularity.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, you know, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, you know, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road, and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Charleston White didn't hold back when talking about Jake Paul, calling his boxing career more entertainment than sport. White said that once Jake faces someone like Gervonta Davis, the difference between an internet star and a real champion will become clear. He believes Tank's timing, reflexes, and years of top-level experience will expose Jake's lack of depth in the ring. According to White, fame can draw attention but can't replace real skill. He insisted that true boxing greatness comes from hard fights, not social media hype. His blunt opinion echoed what many boxing fans already think, that Davis operates on a level Jake Paul has never experienced, and their fight will make that difference undeniable.